Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Day 7 of the Advent 2023. And I'm feeling pretty good about yesterday's whiskey. I got 2 out of 3. So I said it was a malt. I said it was ex-bourbon only. And I wrote down 48 to 51%, but I said 50 to 53. So the one I did not get, the proof, yet again. So I was awfully high on the proof as well. The actual whiskey came in at 43%, which is was a shock to me to see that. So the whiskey was a 17-year-old signatory Clanglish, bottled at 43%, and it doesn't say anything on the label about any additional casking, so we have to assume that it was ex-bourbon only. So I'm going to take the 2 out of 3 on that one, and I'm going to feel good about it. So moving on to day 7's whiskey. This one has gotten me second guessing myself quite a bit. I've been sitting here working on it for a good amount of time. I have written down malt. I have written down proof high with an exclamation point. And then I also have just ex-bourbon written down. So on the nose, neat with no water. This thing is overwhelmingly chocolatey, pushing through some of that chocolate a little bit with some honeyed malt, but it's pretty chocolate. And on the taste without water, all I got was hot. It was very hot. The spice on it in the finish lasted for it was a good minute and a half or so. Anyways, long finish on this thing. I have diluted it. I totaled out at about 4 milliliters of water, and I would put a little bit in, try it, play with it, put a little bit more in, and so on and so forth. And the more water I put in it, the creamier this malt got, the more fruit would come out. The nose started to produce a little bit more than just the chocolate. I am not getting anything in it that suggests any other caskings, no sourness, no vinegariness, no fruities, like the dark fruits or almonds or nuttiness from any of the wine caskings. When I did first take the absolute very first sip, there was a very odd note, and it went away immediately. But it was almost off-putting, and my mind immediately said, "Whoa, is that tequila finished?" But after subsequent sips, I don't believe that at all. That went away, and I don't know what that was about. Maybe that was the first drink of the day, and it was just that hot, that proofy, and it just shocked me. So, but as far as my official guess goes on this whiskey, I'm gonna guess malt. Now, while I'm going through this, I have in my head, and it keeps turning over and coming back. I'm wondering if this is a grain whiskey. And I only say that because I didn't get a ton of what I would consider normal malted barley notes until I started really diluting it, and that's why I'm going with malt. I have 0 to little experience with grain whiskeys, and I don't feel comfortable enough saying grain whiskey because I don't know it. I don't know enough about it to even think that maybe this was that. I do know that, especially in Scotland, if you have even 100% malted barley and you run it through a column still, you have to label it as a grain whiskey. So you could potentially get malted barley notes, but it's still a grain whiskey. So this is where I'm teetering a little bit. But officially, I am going to say it's a single malt. I am going to say the proof on this one, it may even be higher than what I'm guessing. Now, my proof guesses have been astronomically bad over the course of this 7 days here. But I am going to guess 57 to 60%. This thing is high, and with the addition of water, that much water, and it got better and better and better. I'm going to agree that this thing is really, really high. So cask type, ex-bourbon only. I don't have anything in here that suggests otherwise, so I'm just going to stay with the ex-bourbon. And yeah, that's what I got. So hopefully tomorrow we find out that I nailed this one 3 out of 3. But, you know, track record proves that's probably not going to happen. So thank you, everybody, and cheers to this American Spirit.